Hi everyone, welcome back to Ivy the Star Wars Story. Today we're going to be talking about Captain Rex. I'm personally really excited about making this video. I know a couple of you all have asked for this, so I'm really excited about getting to make it. So let's go and jump right into it. First off, we know that he is very big on following orders. We especially get to see this on Darkness on Under. Now I know I talk about Darkness on Under a lot, but it plays into a lot of characters. It plays into Jesse's story, it plays into Five's story, it plays into Hardcase's story, it plays into Rex's story. So it's a really good thing to talk about whenever it comes down to those characters. I personally had a blast getting to go back through and rewatch everything that involved me making these videos. But one thing I noticed is that Rex, and I noticed this the first time I watched it, but noticing it again, is that Rex is very big on following the orders. As much as he doesn't want to lose men, and he says that to Commander Corell, he's like, this is a terrible idea. If we go this way, we won't lose a whole lot of men, but he does what Commander Corell says because he's like, well, Commander Corell has his losing of men is very big, but his success rates are also very high. That's the thing. So clearly what he's doing, he's working. So that's why we should follow his orders. Which was super sad seeing, like, he knew that doing that he would lose a lot of men, but he also knew that Commander Corell seemed to work, so why not follow it? But he also stood up for Fives and all that. He's like, well, what do you need? And, like, whenever, Tup and all that, he's like, well, what do you need? And they're like, well, we just need to go talk to the general. And he's like, well, what do you want to say? And they're like, look up there. And they know that Rex wasn't going to say anything, because Rex is like, I'll just tell him. And they know that Rex wasn't going to do anything about it, so they just were like, nope, never mind, we won't say anything. No, they kind of changed their attitude as soon as they found out that Rex was probably going to find out. And they didn't want that. So instead of telling on them like they were going to, they just went back to their bunk, which was nice. But you can also see, though, that Rex doesn't want to break orders, like, because he knows the trouble that he will get in. He does try to take the blame for Fives, but Fives doesn't allow it to. But this video's not about Fives, it's about Rex. But Rex is very big on following his orders and making sure that things are done right. You also get to see that in the Clone Wars whenever he's working alongside Anakin. He does give his opinion about some things, but most time what Anakin tells him to do, he will do with no questions asked. And we also get to hear about that in Rebels whenever he's like, well, I worked by a Jedi. And we know that he's talking about Anakin, because Anakin was the person that he primarily worked with. Did he work with the Bad Batch a little bit in season 7? Yeah. Did he work with the Clone Rebellion after the execution of Order 66? Yeah. But did he fight by Obi-Wan's side every once in a while? Yeah, but he mainly fought by Anakin. So Anakin was his main dude, and he was like, I knew that I could trust him with my life. Anakin knew that if he gave Rex a responsibility, Rex was going to follow through. And Rex knew that if he needed Anakin by his side, he could do that. We also get to see that in action with Season 7, whenever Rex is like, why do I need to stand guard out here? And Anakin's just like, just do it, because he's going to go on a phone call with Padme. And so Anakin's like, hey, give me your helmet so I can say that I was searching for your gear. And I think that is pretty funny. And then Obi-Wan comes up and he's like, why is Anakin in your bunker? And he's like, oh, he's just searching for my helmet. I can't seem to find it, so I thought maybe he could. And he's like, okay. Like, he knew that Anakin was talking to Padme, but he also didn't want to spoil things for them. You know, he wanted Anakin to be happy. Because at this point, he knew. But as I said, this video is not about them, it's about Rex. But he knew that he could trust Rex to hold his ground if somebody came up and asked where Anakin was. He did. Did it work great? No, but he did. And then we get to see him go after Echo. He wasn't going to leave his own behind. After finding out that Echo was there, he wasn't going to leave his own behind. They went after Echo. And I thought that was really cool. He knew that he could trust Anakin to go after Echo with him, to get Echo back. I thought that was really cool. And then in Rebels, we also get to see how strong the relationship is with Ahsoka. I thought that was really cool. Getting to see how strong his relationship with Ahsoka was. We all saw that whenever they finally reunite, Ahsoka just hugs him, and after he's like, oh my word, you've grown, and she's like, had to happen sometime, and like, we just get to see how big of that relationship was, and we also get to see that in season 7. Whenever she comes back, Rex is like, well, the paint job may be crude because they painted all their helmets to look like Ahsoka's markings, and that was really cool getting to see that, because it showed how much they cared for her. She may have left the Order, But that didn't make her any different, and he still had trouble not calling her commander because that's what she was before she left the Order. Now she's just a civilian. But he still looked at her as a commander. He still took orders from her up until Order 66. And I thought that scene was, like, really touching, where she's like, the war is just, it made everything so dark and all that. And they have that, and he's like, well, without the war, none of us would have been here. I wouldn't have been here. I would never have gotten to meet you or Anakin. And so it's kind of touching, like, the war brought them together, but it also pulled a lot of people apart, which was sad. But we saw that Ahsoka knew that what was happening couldn't have been Rex, how all the clones just turned on her. She knew that what was happening couldn't have been something. So she gets to those droids. She's like, find any information you can onto why this is happening. And she finds out, okay, inhibitor chips. I can pull those. And she pulls it out. She's able to pull Rex's out, and he's back on her side. And watching him cry, knowing that he was going to lose his brother's really sad. And then after the ship crashes and all that, and they see him putting up the shovel, it's just super sad because you know what happened. You know that they lost all those men. You know that they died trying to get rid of Ahsoka, but it was also super sad because they fought by Ahsoka's side for so long. So just seeing that before and after before she left the Order, and then after she came back, not coming back to the Order, but coming back to try to save Mandalore. I was so sad about just seeing everything that happened there. And then in the Bad Batch, it was super cool because he's fighting for the Clone Rebellion. He's fighting for the right that clones should have, that clones should not just be enslaved and sent to the Empire's facilities like a lot of them were, especially on Tantus. We saw how many were in prison there, and we saw how many of them made it out. But it was just sad because so many of them died in those facilities because the Empire deemed them no longer necessary. Stormtroopers were cheaper. So he was fighting for their freedom. And then in the Ahsoka series, we finally get to see his live action appearance. That was so cool. His armor may have been flimsy, but it was still cool seeing him in live action. That was really cool, getting to see his live action debut in Ahsoka. That was amazing. And then getting to see him in Rebels, that was also cool. I hope that we get to find out what happened to Wolf, like how Wolf ended up joining Gregor and Rex and why they went to Solitude. I hope we get to find that out. And also hope we get to find out what happened to Cody, because Cody is my personal favorite clone. I hope we get to find all that out. And maybe a series that they'll make. I don't know. I definitely hope this wasn't the end, although a lot of people are saying it was after the Bad Batch end. I know a lot of people are saying this is the last thing that we'll ever get to see with the Clone Wars. I'm like, I hope it's not. I hope we get to find out what happened to Cody and all of them, because we never really got an explanation. We just know that after the Clone Wars, we had Rebels. That was the next time that we saw Rex, was Rebels. And we saw Gregor and Wolf with him. And seeing Wolf just decide not to go, like after Rex explains to him that this is a child you are going after. This is a child. And then and so Wolf just stands down. Is like, nope, everybody will turn around. We're not doing this. I definitely wonder what happened to Wolf after doing that. That's a big question I had. Is like, what happened to Wolf? Because we never got to find out. Was he put onto a different facility, not Tantus, but was he transferred to a facility for not following orders? What happened? We don't know. I hope we get to find out, though. But it was just so cool seeing him reunite with Echo, seeing him reunite with Wolf. Remember, he's like, Wolf? And Wolf is like, Rex? He's like, I thought you died on a Star Cruiser. He's like, yeah, supposedly. Like, it did happen? No, but he had to fake his death to make sure the Empire wasn't going to go after him. There were just so many things, and then seeing that reunion, as I said, with Ahsoka was really cool. That's all I have to say about Captain Rex. Please like, share, and subscribe, and as always, God bless. Bye, guys.